Jupiter's Song is an exhibition based on the Earle Collection in the archive at the Slavery Museum. For the most part, we have personal narratives and experiences of people once they've arrived on a plantation, and also prior to that, when people were actually taken from the west coast of Africa in Old Calabar. But we didn't have any personal narratives around what happened during this liminal space of the Middle Passage. So the intention was to go into the museum, open up the archives, and hopefully capture some of these voices. But what I ended up finding was that there was only the perspectives of slave traders, merchants, captains, aristocracy. But also specifically in the Earle Collection, there's a book called The Log of Unity. It was the Unity ship that departed from Liverpool and then went onward to Holland, where it picked up a shipment of cowrie shells, and then went on to Old Calabar to pick up about 425 people that would be enslaved. And in that document, I was able to identify 9 people that were enslaved on the ship, but only at the time of their death. During that research, I also encountered Aloda Equiano's autobiography, where he actually chronicles his experiences of being kidnapped, enslaved, and then all the way up to the point where he was able to buy his freedom and become an abolitionist. And he talks about actually being sold for 172 cowrie shells. This relationship between, picking up these cowrie shells from in the Log of Unity, and then also reading about Aloda and thinking about, I guess, an object as well that's seemingly so menial and so small that could be equivalent to human life. How could I explain and show the weight that that object has had? I started thinking about, okay, what would happen if I scale up these objects, and talked about this sinister relationship between person and object. And that ultimately ended up being a sculptural installation of, I believe now there's 30 cowrie shells, as well as 2 tapestries and a video installation. In the show, there's 9 resin shells that have these kind of like glowing heartbeats in them, and those are representing the 9 people that died in the Log of Unity. It ended up in the end as well being quite a collaborative project. I was working with my friend Llewellyn because I really felt like there needed to be a cross-cultural connection between Africa and Liverpool specifically. So they're a dancer based in South Africa. For that as well, they needed music. Super last minute, I hit up my friend Anna, who's based in Kenya, and she ended up using NASA recordings of Jupiter and all these different folkloric songs that actually speak to acknowledging people after death. And so it's been quite a beautiful collaborative experience as well. Jupiter is someone that's mentioned in the Earle Collection, just in this passing letter in the Earle family, talking about business, and so got pregnant, and I hope your day's going well. And Mr. Hartman's black boy, Jupiter, was made a Christian. I was thinking about Jupiter a lot during that process, this little boy that's mentioned, who we don't really know much else about besides he was owned and made a Christian, whatever that means. I think worrying a lot in the process of making these shells, was I honoring him? Or does someone even want to be honored or acknowledged from the space of slavery? For this show, I actually had to take a step back and not just think about African diasporic artists, and not just think about queer people, and not just think about my friends who I've been wanting to represent before, but thinking about the context of Liverpool's history and what it means to be Scouse and what it means to be Liverpudlian. I hope that people are able to see themselves in the installation to a degree, and they're able to see their history in a way that they're able to digest and grapple with. I hope it's a grounding experience, and I hope it feels like it's rooted in the culture.